Hey everybody, welcome to the Anthony and Todd Show. My name is Trevor, aka Sons of Will Smith, aka Why Isn't There a Sequel to Daddy Day Camp, aka I'm about to get mad at Dewey. And I'm here with my best friend, my pal, my amigo, Vincent, aka I Jack Staubed my toe yesterday, aka Who Can It Be Knocking Out My Door?
Oh, you gotta do it again.
Who can it be knocking at my door? AKA the glass is technically always half full, according to Kanye.
Oh my god.
You didn't see that tweet?
No,
It was like something made on like Microsoft Paint, and it's like a picture of a glass, and there's like a diagram. It goes, technically the glass is always half full, and it's like half full of water, and it labels it as like water, and then there's another half, and it says air.
Okay, how much is he
air.
playing? Like, you gotta wonder, like, how much is he memeing it up? Because, like I know Kanye's, like, an idiot and a genius, but, like, he's, like, weirdly walking this line now. Like, to the point where I think he's just constantly memeing it up.
I can't tell.
It's just
he's messing with us.
Him and Google are, like, doing some charity work for, like, Chicago, and then right after he tweets a photo of his, like, signed Donald Trump hat, and I'm just like, what line are you walking? Like, I'm confused on where you stand, like, ethically, or, like, what is it? What's the term?
Morally?
Not morally, no, what's the, kind of politically, it's like the term of, like, you're either not white, you're a right wing, left wing,
on the political spectrum,
like, kind of similar like that. You're like fascist, or you're like
everybody. Oh, right, gotta be
ideology. What's your ideology?
Everybody.
He kind of walks that weird.
Oh.
So it's like one of those like graphs, like the cross, and then it's like right wing, left wing. Kanye's like right in the middle of everything.
He really is.
But then there's like a line that points to the center and says confused.
I like the one where it says, I don't have a manager. I can't be managed.
I like the one where he made
too.
The album art for Kids See Ghosts, but it was just in watercolors, and it looked like his 5-year-old daughter did it. But I'm pretty sure he did it.
With his daughter.
His daughter was doing watercolors, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna make some album art. I'm really inspired.
I'm getting really inspired by these IKEA watercolors.
God.
Got some really great ideas. That's my favorite tweet.
Oh my gosh. Kanye just confuses me, and I love him.
Anyway, it's the Anthony and Todd Show. We're a weekly music podcast. We cover all types of music. We're on YouTube, and then, of course, podcast streaming services such as Spotify and iTunes. And we post our weekly live streams and cut-up reviews on YouTube.
Howdy.
So be there. This is episode 36 of the Anthony and Todd Show, an episode we would like to call KOD stands for Kong of Donkey. Let's get into it, shall we?
What are we talking about today?
All right, so our first album on the list is Jack Stauber's new album, HiLo. Jack Stauber is an electronic, like indie lo-fi pop musician who makes a lot of like really weird but wholesome videos on YouTube. And he made his last album last year, his first like debut album last year, called Pop Food. I really enjoyed it. If you want one song off of that, Oklahoma is my favorite.
I don't know, just like
it's a really weird
pieces
name.
I've heard, I just think it's really strange.
Yeah, I mean he's a really weird guy, and he makes like some really bizarre videos. But there's and that goes into his music as well.
There's an interview he did for like, I think it was some Pittsburgh news organization, something like that. And he's doing this interview, and he holds the album up. It's like, this album was inspired by stunts I did. I do backflips, kick flips, and like all that shit. And he's just like, I'm just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Not to mention the fact he looks like a young Rick Rubin. I think we need to address the fact, Rick Rubin, your son's out of control, and you need to chill him out.
Please get him.
Your son's at the mall. You need to pick him up. He doesn't have a ride.
He's loitering.
Jimmy was supposed to take him home, or Jimmy's mom was supposed to take him home, but Jimmy's mom sucks butt, and she wouldn't let him in the car. So now he needs a ride home from the mall. Rick Rubin, pick up your son.
Please get your baby. Anyway, so HiLo is his follow-up album to Pop Food. And if there's one thing I have to say about it, this lo-fi style, don't let it turn you away, because this entire album is just oozing with Jack Stauber's like character and personality. It's really bizarre, musically and lyrically, but it's so unapologetically him that I can't help liking it, you know?
The lo-fi is not used for like aesthetic purposes. It's more used as a reflection of his own personality, I feel like. And it's not like, I feel like lo-fi most of the time it's used just because people run out of ideas, or they don't have solid ideas, so they kind of copy these trends or these aesthetics with no real reason behind it. Whereas I think Jack Stauber is just kind of doing it because it's a reflection of just him. It's just him. This album is HiLo is just a pure reflection of his personality. It's oozing out of the fucking like
keyboard
with characters
on the cover of
everything's just oozing character. There's these catchy hooks, there's these passionate performances, his vocal.
I seriously gotta make the chart.
He's on the Yachty Rosenstock spectrum, but he's not anywhere near Jeff Rosenstock.
No, okay,
bad.
it's
a cross.
It's a cross. It's like good, bad.
Passionate.
No, wait. Passionate's it's good, bad, passionate, dead.
Yeah. Unemotional or undetached, I'd say.
Dead. Well, I think he's pretty good, so I'd put him like here.
He's like good.
But Jeff Rosenstock's like over here.
No, Jeff Rosenstock's bad, isn't he? Oh no, this is good and bad.
Yeah,
so
he's bad, but he's
here. He's in the corner.
Yeah, he's pretty much like
Jack Stauber's like he's good, but he's like
he's over here.
He's like medium, because he's really passionate. So
yeah,
it's like he's solid. Like I don't have any problems with his vocals throughout the entire thing.
No, he's funny.
Like that. And like they didn't throw me off like a Jeff Rosenstock. I feel like he's very passionate though. So what does this album provide us? It provides us with just a very wholesome lo-fi pop experience that is just catchy as all hell, goofy, insane, balls to the wall, crazy, but it's him. It is a pure reflection of Jack Stauber. It doesn't take it too far with any of these ideas, and I think some of the worst moments on this album, like Data Bend and and in your opinion, Pizza Boy
sucks.
It's just like they don't take the ideas far enough as some of them, or they just kind of blend in with other tracks. Like I think R is just pretty similar to some of these other tracks, personality and tone wise, production wise. I think it kind of blends in. Data Band, it's just a generic 80s pop track, doesn't really have much character to it, and in the end I just feel like it's just like it doesn't even seem like him. And Pizza Boy, I don't really personally have any problems with the track. I think it's actually a pretty decent closer. But what do you not like about it?
I actually thought it was just a bad closer in general. Like I pull up the track list.
But like the worst thing I could say about the track, it's a little bit too similar to It's Alright, but I think it manages to break itself up a little bit more.
I just think that Pizza Boy is like, after coming off, because like I didn't mind OUR, but like coming off of that, it's just like very spacey and weird, and I don't know, I just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, but that's literally this is the worst that this album has to offer, and it's not even that bad. But like highlights for sure, Getting My Mom On is one of the dumbest songs I've heard this year, and I fucking love it. It's literally about
so
Jack
good.
just talking about just getting his mom on, you know. The lyrics are cup in my cap and I'm drinking my mimosa, read keep calm, carry on poster, driving the kids to the mall and back, listening to John Mayer, getting my mom on. Just completely stupid. Another great moment on this, Small World, where he just randomly goes on this tangent. Listen, Pigpen, I am everything you ordered, no more. Just completely like ludicrous statements, just calling someone Pigpen. My favorite moment on this album, Dead Weight, just a fantastic lo-fi pop ballad kind of about anxiety and pressures that I think comes off really well. It comes off really wholesome and fun. The hook on it is a complete other earworm. This is like one of the most catchiest songs you'll hear all year, hands down. Leopard starts out sounding like a Rolling Stones track and evolves into the end like some strange like carnival with this synth. Like the progression of this track is just so strange and out there. It takes so many twists and turns, but in the end you get to this like strange carnival feel, and then there's this like synth that gives you just this, like, it feels like it's swirling. You get this impression that you're like spinning around the room that I found really cool. John and Nancy is just a cool track, idea wise. I like how he had this dream about his significant other dying.
I actually like this one a lot.
It just seems like, and then it's heartbreaking for him because he has to like deal with his opinions, and not only does he have to deal with his like dream he has to deal with someday losing them in a sense.
This reminds me a lot of like a Mac DeMarco track. Also, I misspoke earlier. Pop Food was not his debut album. This is his 4th album.
I did not know. It's the only other one on Spotify, or not Spotify, Google Play Music, so it's the only one I'm aware of. Bard. My favorite part about this track is that there's a heavy bass throughout, but like on the hook, he's stuttering a bit during moments, and then the bass line like matches up with him, so it'd be like, cool down, and the bass line is like falling is like a weird stutter, so it's like I'm just like, what? Like, why are you doing this? I really enjoy it. And then one of the most emotional tracks on the whole entire album, It's Alright, reminds me a lot of like a Weezer track, I would say. Gives me that vibe. Way more synthetic and poppier than a Weezer track, but I think it still has, I think the guitar and the vocals kind of give me that aesthetic of a Weezer track. But one thing I like about the hook is the waves of the distortion that kind of almost follow him. He's trying to provide this calming sense, but then you get this like huge wave of sound following you, so he tries to make whoever he's talking to feel better about themselves or in this world, but then immediately after it's just this huge wave of sound that kind of takes you away. And I think it provides a depth to the track as a whole. It's not this like it's calming, but at the same time there's an eeriness to this calming, almost this nostalgia for this kind of melancholy state that I really enjoy about this entire track. The hooks on this album are completely phenomenal. I think his character, his lyricism, just being a complete oddity, is fantastic. I love everything about this album except for a few moments, and overall I'm through with this project. I want to hear more from Jack Stauber. I want to see more videos from him because I think his videos are actually really wholesome and stupid.
They're funny.
And if you want a recommendation on that, Two Time is like, I wish there was a track on this album because it's catchy as all hell. Two Times should be a track. It should be. It's great.
I think it'll eventually turn into one. That's what happened at Oklahoma.
But I think this album provides like a plethora of like fun moments that have character, but I don't think they're too heavy on the character. Let's say like a Kieran J. Callanan or Ariel Pink. I don't think the character is used for almost as a crutch. I think it's more used as it's just natural.
It's just some guy making music, like, you know, just making music in his apartment or whatever, and puts it on the internet. And he just turns out to be like, there's nobody doing what Jack Stauber's doing, in my opinion. I mean, you can take it like in different ways, like you mentioned, like Kieran J. Callanan or Ariel Pink. Whereas, like, I think that they use their characters in like a almost grotesque way, or like a shock factor kind of way. Like, take Kieran J. Callanan's album cover, for instance, on Bravado. It's literally just him peeing on himself. And, like, that was all done for shock factor, you know? But, or like Ariel Pink or Alex Cameron, I think, are, like, kind of bizarre characters. I think they take them in kind of like a memeier, like I said, more grotesque, more like shocking way. Then if you go to the other side of the spectrum, you got like There Might Be Giants, who like sometimes they write like, you know, kids music, or sometimes they write like ridiculous things. The Aquabats, I also think, are like super ridiculous, very like wholesome, family friendly. They're very family friendly, but like Jack Stauber falls like right in the middle of that because he's making like grown up music consistently about like weird things, but it's never childish. It's never like too weird. Yeah, it's never too weird. It's like I love the Aquabats. I love They Might Be Giants. Give They Might Be Giants a Lifetime Achievement Award. But sometimes they just write like really weird stuff.
It's just too cutesy in a sense. You get the impression of almost it's too childish too for children, which could be a bad thing. And sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But like I think Jack Stauber, it's just a reflection of him as a personality. He's not doing it for meme's sake. I think one artist you can make a comparison to, I think it matches him best, Lemon Demon, Neil Cicerega. Because while Neil Cicerega is way more synthetic than Jack Stauber and way more... Neil Cicerega isn't as lo-fi as Jack Stauber, but I think there's commonality and weirdness, but I think Neil Cicerega kind of pushes it to the edge. He has a track called, it's called Cabinet Man, where it's literally about an arcade machine, like literally. So like if They Might Be Giants is here and Jack Stauber's here, Lemon Demon's like in the middle of those two. But like he kind of takes it to like almost like a sci-fi route or like a memeier route, but it's not too childish. It's like well written. It doesn't have like a super duper deep meaning behind it, and it doesn't teach you a moral, but it's more of just a strange narrative storytelling while Jack Stauber is doing just being himself. He's being a reflection of himself. I think Mac DeMarco is another good representation. Mac DeMarco's weird, but he's not like...
I would say Jeff Rosenstock as well.
Yeah.
But I think Jeff Rosenstock is more like hard-boiled, I guess, in a way.
He's an egg.
He's not an egg.
You gotta peel off the... It's like, you gotta take time to like peel off the shell, and then underneath it's an egg, you know?
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
You get it? Well, like, you gotta adapt to Jeff Rosenstock.
Imagine Nausea, like the most well-known track, Jeff Rosenstock. He's just out here screaming, and the music video is like really weird, but it's really like funny and bizarre. It's like something that like Jack Stauber would make, but like in Jack Stauber's version, he would be like cleaning up his Legos instead of the bottles on the floor, and he would, I don't know, like I think it's still got like the emotion to it, but like in Jack Stauber's video, he wouldn't have his stomach cut open to get the tacos. Also,
it would also be on a bad VHS tape.
Yeah.
That's his whole entire...
And drawn with, like, squiggle vision. I don't know. Jack Stauber's, like, just oozing his personality, and I, like, relate to that. Okay, better. Have you seen Gravity? You've seen Gravity Falls.
Yeah.
You know the character of Seuss?
Yeah.
That is Jack Stauber. Seuss is Jack Stauber.
Okay.
The end.
So in the end, I really like this. Definite moments you check out. Dead Weight, hands down one of the best tracks of the year. Dead Weight. It's catchy as all head. You need to scream that at the top of your vocals. It's fantastic. Small World, it's alright. Getting My Mom On is like one of the strangest songs I heard all year. In the end, I like his lo-fi aesthetic that is more of a reflection of his personality than for just as a crutch or writing crutch or anything like that. I like how catchy it is. I like how it's oozing with personality and passionate performances. I'm gonna give this an 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I want to hear more in the future.
I'm also giving it an 8.5. Good work, boys.
Good boys. Boy.
Good work, boy.
Boy. Who's the other boy?
Everybody's boys.
Boys? Are you a boy?
Yeah.
I'm a boy. You a boy. She's a boy. We're all boys. Yeah.
Wow, that was good.
Thanks.
Going into J. Cole's KOD. J. Cole is aka Lil Pump's mortal enemy, aka Diet Crit, aka Kendrick's Zero Sugar. This is his third album after 2014 Forest Hill Drive, which was pretty good.
It was decent.
Yeah, it was alright.
Like tracks like Wet Dreams and
No Role Models.
No Role Models, and I'm here right now.
Here right now. No Role Models. I can't tell you about it.
They're secret. Shh.
And then his second album, For Your Eyes Only, which I can't remember any songs off of.
It's just like the only memorable track is, I think, Everybody Dies, and that's not even on the album. That was just a loose single that was released around the same time.
So that one was not good.
It was just lost in its own narrative sense in Cole's ego. He seems like a preacher. He was on his hops and shit. He felt like he needed to talk down to everyone. He thought he was God. He thought he was our mortal savior, and it just seems like he was preaching to us. And I thought it was really like fucking pretentious.
Cool. So So Cole comes through with his third album here, KOD. There's no real meaning to KOD. He said it was kids on drugs, which I think was the original concept because there are a bunch of kids doing drugs on the album.
I think it actually means Call of Duty.
But it does.
Because, like, if you're not going to give he's like, it can mean anything. It can mean kids on drugs. It can mean king overdose. It can mean kill our demons. Like, that's such a...
Kill our demons is the worst one because I think that just means he's fake conscious rap.
Yeah, no, well, he is. This is like the best.
Anybody that says kill your demons is like white girl with bangs on Twitter. I'm looking at you, J. Cole.
he's like
called out.
He's watching through his computer. He's just like, oh shit, they found out.
My FBI agent just told him.
But like, what I hate about is being called KOD and there's no exact meaning to it, is that it seems like he's just throwing shit out of his ass. He's just like randomly coming up with shit on the top of his head because it's like, it can mean anything. It can mean this. It can mean that. There's no true meaning. It just makes you seem like you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So you're using this as a way to like make your album have some like narrative thread. In reality, this album's biggest problem is that it focuses on too many subjects. It doesn't just focus on like drug or like alcohol abuse or addiction. It focuses on like money and wealth and like younger rappers and like a bunch of other and love and like a bunch of random other shit. And it doesn't, like, you can say it's like all these things are like drugs, but he doesn't focus in on any of them enough and give them equal amount of time, so it seems like they're all equally important. He gets lost in too many of these ideas, and like for the most part, for like a good half of this album, he just isn't personal enough. It seems like J. Cole is almost like he's just like a cyborg version of Big Crit. Like,
he's like Big Crit Terminator form.
Yeah, he seems like he has like no real personality. He seems like he's too braggadocio.
Personality to speak of. I'm
like,
searching through my...
I hate you. On the track KOD, for a track about drug use, Cole gets trapped in his own ego so many times. He starts talking about not doing features. Like, what the fuck does that have to do with drug use? You're not staying on steady subject. You're not making these transitions to the point where everything feels like a cohesive unit. Not to say you can't talk about not doing features on a track about drug use. I'm just saying he does it in such a weird way that it makes it seem that the track's more about his own ego than it is about kids on drugs. I think vocally, he can't sing for like a good like 2/3 of this album. I think his vocals at times just are terrible. Like he's had decent performances on 2014 Forest Hill Drives. Like I thought that like his vocal performances, especially the track Apparently,
he just seemed like such a young guy back then, and like put so much heart into that album. And then as he grew up, it just seemed like he started not caring anymore.
And that's only like 4 years ago. Like,
yeah.
What happened? What happened in those like 4 years that like turned you into like a fucking like, I don't know, just like so much about like a piece of shit. Like he just seems like a jagged. He seems like overly edgy. He seems like to the point where he's gonna be like Lou the Human, and like you don't want to go full Lou the Human. You don't want to go full edgy. Kill Edward is a feature that pops up, which is just J. Cole, and it's supposed to be this like
it's just fooling us.
It's just like it's supposed to be this contrasting force. I feel like it's supposed to be.
It's his foil,
but it's not. Like it just seems like J. Cole because the lyrically, I don't think it's enough of a foil. It's enough of a contrast to where he's like fighting against J. Cole, and vocally, it's just a bit pitched down J. Cole, but like there's other moments on this album where there's a bit pitched down J. Cole and Kill Edward's not credited. So I'm confused of like what the fuck is happening with this persona, and it seems like it's just half-baked idea, and this whole entire album seems like a lot of half-baked ideas. And it just like Cole just doesn't, it seems like he rushed this, or he just like didn't know what he wanted to get out of it, and he just wanted to put something out so he can go on tour or a bunch of other shit.
I don't know. The way it was like recorded was really weird. It was just recorded on the For Your Eyes Only tour in like 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
So that probably plays in the recording or that probably plays into the wholesomeness of the album.
I would say so as well.
Continuity of the album. The track KOD, I mentioned how Cole gets caught up in the ego, but like honestly, as a track, I think Cole's flow saves it. his performance saves it. Not to say his vocals or anything on that is good, or his lyrical content on the track is that good. But I think as a whole, the production across the board of this entire album is not bad. It does remind me too much of like Kendrick or Crit. I don't think he does really anything with this like jazz hip hop style. I don't think he really makes it his own.
It's not enough.
He needs some fucking tuba. That's what he needs. We'll get into that later in the episode. But I think Photograph is just.
Ooh, that's
like
honestly one of my least.
It's the worst favorite track
of the year.
It's just like his vocals are so unpassionate and not good. Can you do an impression of J. Cole? I think
sure. Fell in love with the photograph. I wish I could
photograph.
see in real life.
He's just not singing. He's just not like giving it any effort.
Awful.
It's like this is like one take. He had one take and he was like, okay, I'm gonna put in some vocals later on.
For a guy that disses Lil Pump later in the album, this is something that Lil Pump would put out. Or like,
no, this is not something Lil Pump would put out.
This is something like, it reminded me of like a Yachty single.
Yeah, like a terrible Yachty.
Like this is exactly the kind of rap that he's making fun of.
This is Summer Songs 2.
Yes.
You don't want to go full Summer Songs 2.
We've reached it.
My favorite track on here, Addicted to Money, ATM. I don't know, like lyrically, the content of the track, it's like it lightly crests the shoulder, gently touches the shoulder, touches the idea of the dangers of wealth. But Cole's performance, his flow, and the production, the catchiness of the entire track makes it like the best track on this album. And I think it's like a really good hip-hop track. Other than the subject matter, I think is a bit weak. But I don't think Cole's ego gets in front of him that much. But I think as a whole, the track works out to be really, really well. There's just some, like, for, like, a good third of this album, I just get, like, distracted about how much, like, all the tracks kind of sound the same. And, like, I could touch upon them each, but, like, I don't think there's really any purpose to, because they pretty much all have the same meaning of Cole getting kind of almost trapped in his ego. But I think what really stands out for me are, like, the last, like, 2 tracks. Last, like, 3 tracks I think are pretty good. Once an Addict, the interlude, which I don't understand, like, this is like 3 minutes. Why is it an interlude? Like, interludes to me are like transitions or like skits. This is like a full track, and it's like one of the better tracks on the album. Where Cole actually has life experience and like a personal attachment to this like track where he's talking about his mom's alcoholism, and it's like vocal performance on the track. It's like very close to like apparently off 2014 Forest Hills Drive. And it's a very solid track where he gets really personal in depth on the subject of alcoholism and having to see his mom suffer so much and kind of wondering why she would do that to herself. I think if there were more tracks like on this could have been like a really, really solid conscious rap album. But in the end, I don't think it works up to be like that. The final track, 1985, Intro to the Fall Off, I actually personally enjoy this track. I feel like it's a better version of the track Jay-Z put on 444, where he's kind of talking down to a lot of these younger rappers like Lil Uzi Vert and stuff like this. This track that Cole made, he's dissing an anonymous rapper. People have said like it's Yachty, but like it's been kind of well speculated at this point. It's Lil Pump. And plus they have beef, so it makes sense. I want it to be Lil Pump. Yeah. I want these two to have beef so bad. But like I think Cole, I think I view the track as more Cole wanting the best for the Sniffer album, wanting him to mature as an artist. It's a diss, but at the same time, it's not a diss. I think it works well. Like, this is like, I think it walks the boundary really well of like, I want the best for you, I want you to mature as an artist, but I don't, like, you're gonna fall off. This could be an intro to another album, or it's just the intro to, like, Lil Pump's fall off, or the anonymous rappers fall off as a rapper.
Yeah, I was a little interested in that. I wonder if that will be his next project he's working on.
I feel like if it is another project...
Kendrick J. Cole collab that we've been promised for
No, I don't want that anymore.
years.
Like, Damn made me not want a Kendrick J. Cole collab. Because it's like, I feel like Damn and this definitely made me not want. Not because I'm saying Kendrick's bad, because he really is Damn. I actually do enjoy Damn, but like I feel like it's just like those two styles. It would be really weird. It would be more of a J. Cole project. I feel like.
Oh, I don't want that.
Kendrick's catering to J. Cole, and plus Kendrick couldn't go full ham because he would bury J. Cole. Because he's just a better rapper when you compare the two. Like he's almost uncomparable.
Pound for pound.
My favorite thing about 1985 doesn't even come from this album. It's Lil Pump's response. He has two responses. The first one was both of these are like Snapchat videos or something like that. It's just like, you disrespect a 17-year-old cuz lame ass bitch. And the second one's like, I want to give a shout out to J. Cole, and he's holding this piece of bread and he's chewing it. He's like throwing all that shade at me, throwing that shade at me, and then he shoves the entire piece of bread in his mouth. Lil Pump is like an idiot, but I love him. He's a jackass. He's a complete fucking jackass.
He likes his carbs, that's for sure.
But one thing I can give Lil Pump is I liked his self-titled more than this album. So don't at me.
Dang, boy.
In the end, this album is just confusing. It's lost. It just doesn't know what it wants to do itself. It hasn't figured itself out yet. J. Cole gets trapped in his ego too many times. He kind of preaches at us. He gets on his option shit. Not as much as he did on For Your Eyes Only. He attempts, his singing voice isn't that good for like 2/3 of this entire project. And it just focuses on too many subjects and gets lost too easily. In the end, I'm going to give this a 6. Like straight 6 out of 10. I enjoyed parts. I enjoyed ATM and like the last few tracks. As a whole, the production of this album I think is good. It may be a little generic, hip hop jazz, but like it's still wholesome in its attempt. And I think as a whole, it comes out the production as being one of the better parts of this entire project. But tracks I would definitely recommend: ATM, Once an Addict, 1985. Those are tracks I actually honestly enjoyed and will go back and listen to after this.
Cool. I would have to agree with a lot of the points that you just brought up. Sometimes I think it just bothers me how like pretentious he feels over some of these tracks, or like he'll be trying to. Okay, so Brackets, for example, I think bothered me, which like I ended up the track's like okay, but his subject matter just went on from one thing to another, and he brought it back around. And he goes, because she has to pay her taxes, and we're like, oh look, I brought it back to taxes, and I was like, no, it's just, I don't know, stupid stuff.
You got to pay your taxes.
Just stupid stuff like that. Like, I feel like he was trying too hard, or grasping at straws to make connections to things, which I think is annoying in storytelling and annoying in hip-hop. And it doesn't make me like want to take him seriously as an artist or as a storyteller. I feel like he didn't have any sort of personal connection to the subject matter. It's all about like drugs and drug usage, and kind of just like mental health. But I feel like J. Cole has no attachment to the actual subject matter, which of course makes it infinitely more difficult to write about if you just don't understand it. And his attempts, like I said, just come off as very pretentious. And like I don't want to hear his opinions on it because he doesn't know like what he's talking about. I'm gonna have to give it a 6 because I think it does have a couple like decent songs on it. It's got a couple decent memes on it, like Photograph. It's pretty memey. But there are definitely songs like ATM or 1985 or I liked The Cutoff. That I think don't make this album redeemable, but they make it just a little bit better than it.
It makes it enjoyable, in a sense, as a whole.
Hear Yeezy.
Welcome everyone to the Kanye Quest, a weekly show going through Kanye West's discography. We usually start out this show with a Kanye Quest, but this week which we're going to get into in a second, we're going to talk about Watch the Throne this week, his Kanye West collaborative album with Jay-Z right after My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Without any further ado, we're going to get into our D&D, almost like quest. It's not D&D. It was D&D at one point, but it's more involved in the Kanye West fan fiction, I guess.
That's kind of what it's involved in.
But we're just going to continue from there. So, Trevor, take it away.
Right, it's gonna warm your heart.
Okay.
Night has fallen once more, and you and Kanye trek along a beaten path through a field. The tall grass sways with each breeze. The moon shines bright overhead. It looks so close you could almost touch it. You glance all around with every sound you hear in the woods. What if someone's following you? A wild animal? An assassin? It's hard to tell in this weird fantasy world you woke up in. Both you and Kanye are silent as you walk on. You hear leaves rustling in the distance, but not in the way they rustle when the wind blows through the trees. More like the rustling you hear when you walk through your yard on a fall day. Kanye perks up for a second, looking treacherously to his right at the trees about 100 yards away. He never stops walking, though. His pace noticeably picks up as the breeze blows once more. You see a shadow out of the corner of your eye moving unnaturally. You jerk over to try to catch it, but it ducks down just as quickly as it appears. You whisper to Kanye, never stopping, alerting him of what you saw. On my signal, he whispers, looking ahead. Run. The next couple seconds feel like hours as your stalker possibly approaches any second. Suddenly, Kanye yells. Run! He screams. You take off behind him towards the moon. Your foot gets caught on a rock and you fall quickly. You hear rapid footsteps and then a loud thud. Scrambling to your feet, you see Kanye on the ground. Only he's not in pain, he's laughing. You see another figure, none other than Kanye's friend and blacksmith, Jay-Z. Sorry I scared you two, Jay says, wiping the dirt off his armor as he stands up. I couldn't resist the chance to catch my old friend. Kanye lights a campfire and Jay-Z opens his pack, revealing many fish, berries, and bread. It warms your heart to see a reuniting of two old friends. The end.
Okay, so Watch the Throne. We've talked a bit before about Kanye West and Jay-Z's relationship, which is kind of like weird, and I don't think anyone truly understands it besides Kanye West or Jay-Z.
Buddies.
They're kind of buddies. They're kind of like enemies. Like Jay-Z doesn't really understand Kanye, but like I feel like Kanye loves Jay-Z. So there's this weird dynamic that I feel like it's never been truly explained how it operates. But Jay-Z never, when Kanye was starting out, Jay-Z never really saw Kanye as a rapper. He saw him more as a producer. And eventually Kanye was reluctantly signed to Rockefeller Records. And thus forth, going back to right after My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, or no, right before, we forgot to talk about this last week, there was the Good Fridays, which was every week there was a new single released for free.
I had a good time with that.
Some enjoyable ones. I think my favorite out of all of them was there's a track called Christmas in Harlem that was released on like around Christmas. That's like the quintessential like hip hop Christmas track. If you can hear it, it has like 20,000 features to it. So like there's a version that's like 7 minutes. I don't even know. I forget who's all on it. I know there's like 20 features to it. There's like a 7-minute long version. But during the promotional stages of West's Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, for Good Fridays, there's a remix of Power that surfaced that featured Jay-Z. West announced on Twitter that his intention was to drop a 5-track EP with Jay-Z entitled Watch the Throne. Later on, they would drop the track Monster, which was also intended for EP, but eventually made its way to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. It was later revealed by West that the project had been expanded to a full-length album, and in a late October 2010 interview with MTV, he said in the interview that they planned to record in the south of France, hence one of the song titles, Bad Words in Paris. But yeah, this album, this collaboration between two of, like, I want to say greatest, but two of the most well-known forces in hip-hop, collaborating on the same album, who've had collaborations before, but not for, like, a full project. It seemed like a big thing. It seemed like a huge thing at the time. One of my fucking
big
grime. It seemed like a huge thing at the time. And I think my biggest problem with this album is I think it's grandiose, it's large, it's big, but it doesn't feel it, if you know what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't have like the lasting power of, let's say, like something like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy or Graduation or College Dropout. There's good moments on here like Bad Words in Paris, like Otis, like No Church in the Wild. But I feel like none of these moments last as long as previous Kanye moments, or let's say even previous Jay-Z moments, to name a few. I think this album, because there's two collaborators on it, it's almost hard for them to each go in depth on things, or for both of them to go in depth on a thing. It seems like for something that's supposed to be like one of the quote unquote greatest collaborations of all time, it feels like this album, I can't believe I'm about to say this, doesn't feature enough Jay-Z. It seems almost kind of Kanye heavy. It feels like it has too many features to it. I feel like the Dream pops up way more times. I feel like Frank Ocean was...
The Dream, go home.
Dream, go home. It's like 10 o'clock at night. You need to be in bed. You have school tomorrow. But like I feel like this album's kind of like bogged down with like features, or there's just so many people producing. There's no like thread through everything. It feels like it just kind of is doing what's poppy. And there's just some like I feel like the production, it's good, but it just doesn't, besides a few moments, it's like... It's good, but it's not something I would listen to on repeat. Like, I like the track New Day. I like the track That's My Bitch, which just sounds like a glorified Foster the People track. Don't at me. And
Justin Vernon's on that one, too.
Yeah. The track Who Gonna Stop Me is just absolute trash rap. That's like one of the worst songs I've ever heard, where they just take the song I Can't Stop, which I think it's like by Flux. I don't know who's by. But they sample it, and it's complete garbage. And Kanye should never be over EDM. Jay-Z, and never in his fucking life, should be over EDM. It was a terrible mistake. Whoever made that mistake needs to be punished. They should be sent through the see-through zone. But like, I think there's just too much going on here, and not enough narrative threads to make moments. Again, moments like Otis are so wholesome and like fun, and brings Kanye back to his college dropout days by being over a beat that Jay-Z fits so much over, and they have so much chemistry over the track. They fit so well together as a cohesive unit. The track Bad Words in Paris, where it's so hype, Jay-Z's braggadocio on top of it seems so fitting, seems so hard-hitting. His performance is good. Kanye with almost his just goofiness and his ability to have fun in the track shine through so much, making it one of the most catchy and hype hip-hop songs of all time. Moments like No Church in the Wild, I think, are good, but they kind of fall flat because I don't think there's really any meaning attached. While I like Dream's autotune feature on it, I like Frank Ocean's feature on it. This is actually a Frank Ocean appearance on this album on both No Church in the Wild, at the end Made in America, were actually both recommendations of Beyonce, who listened to Nostalgia Ultra and really wanted him on Jay-Z's project, which I thought was pretty cool, because this is before Channel Orange, so this is Nostalgia Ultra, which I never really cared for personally, but
at least somebody liked.
But No Church in the Wild doesn't seem like it has much depth to it, like a lot of the tracks on this album. It's very catchy, it's very fun, the flow's good on this project, but it just doesn't seem like it has much depth. New Day, one of the particular things I like about this track is he's talking about his future son and how he wants him to have an easy life, not a Yeezy life. But 2 albums later, on No More Parties in LA, he said, I've been worried about my daughter, I've been worried about Ken, but Saint is baby Ye, I'm worried about him. So it's you just automatically contradict this 2 years later.
Doesn't care.
But it's just, there's so many different elements to this track. Again, too many features kind of bog it down. The production, it's grand, it's large, it's big, but
those are all the same word.
I was just...
Grand, large, and big.
I was using synonyms. Is that bad? Can I not use synonyms?
No.
Okay. But while My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was grandiose, it felt like it needed to take place in a stadium or an art hall or something like that. This large area.
Definitely an art hall. I can see My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy being performed in an opera hall.
Yeah, something like that. Whereas Watch the Throne seems like it sounds big, but it seems like it takes place in a studio.
It's very gilded, if I had to attach a word to it. I think it's well deserving of its album cover, because it looks like it's made of gold, it sounds like it's made of gold, but the actual substance behind it is not gold.
Which, one thing I never really learned about until I got it recently, was inside, you're not going to be able to see this, audio listeners, also visual listeners, because it's probably not going to focus right, but on the outside, it's gold and shit, but on the inside, it's actually wood. The CD's wood. It's not actually wood, but it's painted wood.
Oh, gotcha.
So I don't know. Maybe that's like the illusion of like depth of this project. Almost, it's made out to be big,
gilded.
Something's not big is made out to seem big. That sounded stupid, but like I think that's more the illusion of grandness. I think that's a better way to put it. This album also kind of like it brings the end. I kind of view this as like the funeral or the casket for the bling era. The gangster rap braggadocio era kind of comes to an end with this album going more.
It's still happening, but it's not
like we're not in that era anymore. Like
Yeah.
braggadocio and like gangster rap is still happening, but we're not in that because I feel like Schoolboy Q as like a gangster rap, but he's in like the internet age. Like I feel like the age right after
He's
the
doing
bling era.
internet crimes.
Yeah, he's doing white collar crimes. He's selling all his money and getting Bitcoin. Is that how it works?
Yes.
Yes, sell your money and get Bitcoin. But I think this was like the last album before we transitioned to the internet age with artists such as Frank Ocean and Odd Future, Tyler Creator. Going later down the line with like currently Brockhampton and Injury Reserve, some of the indie hip hop acts right now. But like we're in the internet age currently, and this was the death note before the end of the kind of like a braggadocio era where we're getting more conscious rap, where we're getting more different styles of rap, we're getting more jazz rap especially. We're getting more synthetic rap, more rap that's based off EDM. We're getting more trap especially, which we're almost coming to the end of. Thank fucking God, because I think we're done with fucking trap.
Good night, trap.
Good night, trap, sweet prince. But yeah, now we're in an age of like young artists getting their come up just through SoundCloud and stuff, and not really needing a label. And I think this was the end of the era of two artists who had to fight to make it, essentially, coming together and releasing like an okay project that has a lot of grandeur to it, but in the end, it's like a lot of false grandeur in a sense. There's not literally a lot of lyrical depth to it. There's good production, there's good performances, but there isn't all much there when you look back on it. I can't go back and listen to this as much. Like I tried to give this. I tend to, when we do the Kanye Quest, I try to listen to these albums like a lot throughout the week, so I can like think how they affect me personally, or think how they affect Kanye's career personally. But like it was hard for me to do it this one because like I feel like it's just not like as good as, let's say, like even something like 808s. I don't think it's hard for me to get into as this. But in the end, I think it's a nice history moment that it is the end of like the bling era. It's the end of like that era before we get into a more heavy internet age. There's some fantastic moments again, not to mention Otis, No Church in the Wild, Bad Words in Paris, New Day, That's My Bitch. Those are all moments on this project that Murder to Excellence of I was gonna say Excellence of Execution. That's Bret Hart. Murder Excellence or whatever it's called are all great, but like I think this just doesn't really have a lyrically depth. It's not Kanye's best project. It doesn't have his best moments on it. It's not really notable in his career as much because he just released My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and just did a bunch of other stints and just had a bunch of previous life experience that was more notable on 808s and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. So I think this is gonna be, it's better than mixtapes, but it's his worst studio album. Of all the albums we reviewed so far, currently it's his worst.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. It's okay. It's just I just don't think there's enough there to classify it. So the current ranking is still My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy at the top, Graduation, College Dropout, 808s and Heartbreaks, Labor Registration, Watch the Throne, Can't Tell Me Nothing. There's so many of them. I'm Good, Get Well Soon. That was like a lot. We've reviewed a lot of Kanye albums the last 2 months.
I know.
We need to take a break. But until next time, are you farting over there?
No, I actually hit your door.
But until next time, guys, have a Yeezy day. Is that what I say? What I usually say?
Have a Yeezy day.
Have a Yeezy day. If you see Kanye in the street, give him Kanye's best.
Give him Kanye's day.
I made that bitch famous. We're gonna quickly talk about this Denmark Vesey EP, Sungo Nova. in the end, I think this is just a very solid little EP, and I don't think there's really too much to complain about. Denmark Vesey, Quelly Chris collaborator, friend of Quelly Chris. That's notable. I'm going to get into that, why that's notable later. He's signed to the Mellow Music Group. He has a similar aesthetic to artists like Quelly Chris and Open Mike Eagle. It is art rap, or at least I classify him under that art rap label. But this new EP, what interests me about it is that it had production from Knowledge and Earl Sweatshirt on it, which I love Earl Sweatshirt as a producer. I love Knowledge as a producer. But I also know their producing really doesn't have much depth to it. It's a nice listen, but it's not doing anything completely new or completely revolutionary. I think it's wholesome, it's fun, but in the end, it's just there's not that much there. And I think to this EP, it's good. It's a fun listen. There's good performances on it, but he's not giving us enough here in the 18. Well, this EP is kind of divided into two parts. The first part is an actual EP. The second half is like a beat tape only produced by Denmark Vesey.
Yeah.
So like there's these
very
two,
like weird structure,
but it's around 20 minutes. We can combine both sides. When it's just the first half, it's like 18, I think. But there's good performances. Denmark Vesey has a particular style. Again, a reason I bring up Quelly Chris and why he's a frequent collaborator is because I think they're almost the two sides of the same fucking coin. They came up together, obviously. They were in a rap group together, but I feel like Denmark Vesey is almost not... I'm not gonna say the normie Quelly Chris. I think he's more of the more normal Quelly Chris, more lyrically and flow impactful Quelly Chris, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you like anyone on the Mellow Music Group, I would definitely recommend checking out this EP because I think there is a lot of the similarities of a bunch of previous artists on that label. But this EP as a whole, the instrumentals, the second half, I just thought were kind of like lame. I like, they're okay, but they didn't really do it for me as much as the first half. The first half, starting with Z's, produced by Earl Sweatshirt, the hook is just so stupid. I just thought it was very clever and fun. I think Denmark Vesey's flow, his personality, his character shine through a lot on this project, but in the end, there's not enough there or to solidify that like this is like a great project. I think it's a fun little EP. I think he's almost kind of buried a bit under the beats of Earl Sweatshirt and Knowledge. He seems a little bit quiet.
I would say that for sure.
It's like the beats are kind of taking center stage and he's over them, but his performance is still noteworthy. It's not like he's kind of lost. Well, he's kind of lost, but he's not like completely buried out by them.
He's equalized by a producer who's not even actively there.
Yeah.
Which I think like when I think of like other albums that are produced by whoever, I think of like the producer actually being there. When I think of like a DJ Khaled album, I think of DJ Khaled being in the studio.
Even if he's not producing the track,
yeah,
like he's
still there and influencing what's going on. But with Denmark Vesey's EP, I feel like it's Denmark Vesey who was sent a couple beats by Earl Sweatshirt and Knowledge, yeah, and rapped over them, but like it's almost like the ghost or the spirit of Earl Sweatshirt is present, but it has as much presence as Denmark Vesey, when in reality it should be Denmark Vesey and his own skills and ideas over this beat that just so happened to be produced by Earl Sweatshirt.
Yeah. So another one of my favorite moments on this, Sellout, which is quintessentially like that Doris era Earl Sweatshirt. Which is good. It's good. Like I really like that. When Earl Sweatshirt still felt like a member of Odd Future, where he's still kind of using same production elements as Tyler, still using some of the similar like kind of weird synths and stuff like that. Some of the similar drum patterns. Yeah, but like I don't think I have anything else to say. I think like Denmark Vesey gives a good performance, but it's kind of equally to the production, and both of them are good. I don't have a problem with each, but together they kind of feel off. Moments like Z's Sellout. I actually like the track Rush Hour. I thought that was pretty cool. And Wax Wayne Tears, I actually thought was pretty cool too on the production, on the beat tape half. But in the end, like, I don't think there's that much there. I wish this was more of a studio album. I wish there was more meat to it. There was more substance to it. But in the end, I'm kind of left wanting more, which is a good thing and a bad thing. I'm not gonna give this a score because it's a little EP. Just listen to it. It's like 20 minutes long, and it's, in the end, I think it's worth it. I think at least the first half is worth it.
Even if you don't like it, it's not like you wasted a ton of time anyway.
He still has Denmark's Best. He still has, like, he's very unique. He has a very stylized flow and personality, and he's still his own person. Even though I compare him to Quelly Chris a lot, I think he still is his own rapper. He still is his own individual. And there's still, like, elements of here I like, but again, he just kind of gets lost.
Yeah. All right. Del the Funky Homosapien. You've probably heard him, but you probably didn't know it. He's Ice Cube's cousin.
Is he actually?
Yeah,
I never knew that.
Actually, Ice Cube's cousin. I didn't know that until, like, very recently. But this guy's worked with all sorts of alternative rappers,
Gorillaz,
and mainstream rappers alike. He's worked with MF Doom, Kool AD, even bands like the Dirty Heads. Worked with the Wu-Tang Clan, Aesop Rock, and then, of course, his most well-known, worked with the Gorillaz on the iconic tracks Rock the House and Clint Eastwood. I'm sure you all know at least Clint Eastwood. Yeah. But he's been around the block quite a few times, and he
just keeps on going around that block.
Just keeps going. But he has recently released his latest album with
Amp
Live called Gate 13.
And I'm let down by this project. There's moments that I personally really enjoy, but I think this album is just like both Amp Live and Del the Funky Homosapien not really having good chemistry at times, and both of them essentially fuck up on, like, separate occasions. Like, I think on the beginning, sometimes Del is off the game with the tracks Wheel and Fortune and Glow. I just feel like Del just kind of seems like he's second fiddle to fucking Amp Live's beats. His production, which I think is pretty solid for a majority of this project. There are some moments,
not bad at all.
But then you get to Amp Live. Sometimes he's off the game. The track Chili Sauce, On the Ball, get some of this. The EDM heavy production, which is god awful. It's just terrible. It's just like I'm feeling like I'm listening to that, like, Will Smith track last year. Like, you know what track I'm talking about? Get Hyped or something like that. Will Smith released the EDM track last year and it was complete garbage. Yeah. That's what it reminded me of. And, like, you don't want to remind me of that. But, like, I feel like at times, like, for a majority of this project, they just have bad chemistry. And they have separate ideas, and they don't know what, like, this, like... And also, there's a lot of features, and I feel like a lot of the features have better chemistry in Amp Live than Del has with Amp Live. But, like, there's moments where they get together, and I think it's really, really good. Like, the moments like Help, I think, are really fun. It has a nice vocal intro, great Krieg production, solid verses from Del, nice hook from Adult Karate. Why can't I say karate? Okay.
Adult karate.
Karate. I don't know. Couldn't say karate for the longest time. It flows perfectly in the track Humble Pie, which is also really fun. I really enjoyed the track Sit Your Ass Down, which is very old school, funky, synthetic hip hop track that Del needed to be over. He needed to be over a beat like this for majority of the project. He didn't need to be over tracks like On the Ball and Get Some of This. Like, I think those are just, like, too EDM heavy, too synthetic, and Del shouldn't really be over that. He's more of an old school, more of, like, an old soul. He needs to be over, like, these old school, like, beats, these funkier beats,
for sure.
These groovier beats.
He's got funky in his name. Come on.
Yeah. The tracks Funk Rolla 3.0 and 4.0 are completely fucking insane interludes.
4.0 is dumb. 3.0 is funny.
They're both dumb. I love them, though. They have great production.
3.0 is about a car that battle raps. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. like 3.0 is like 3 skits almost kind of like put together, and it's kind of long-winded, but I also kind of really enjoy it because I wasn't enjoying the album that much before it came on, but afterwards I had like
really
fun.
bizarre.
I had fun. 4.0 is just like, you need to buy a Funko roller. It's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just thought it was really funny, and that's what like when I went out of my interludes or like one of my skits. I just want to have like fun. I want to take like a break from everything, get a moment to breathe, some atmosphere. And I think more of the atmospheric moments to pop up, or like the breathing moments to pop on this album, Amp Live does pretty well. Like in the end of Wheel of Fortune, or no, in the middle of Wheel of Fortune, between the verses, that Del doesn't really perform on the best. We have this strange and pleasant atmospheric gap. It's just kind of there. It's nice. It's pleasant. But it just seems out of place that we just had Del, and now we just have this gap. And then we go back to Del. I'm like, oh, okay. Why? What are the relations between like everything? Like, why is this needed to be happening?
Yeah.
Track Gravy Train, I think, is actually pretty great. It's one of the more bassline heavy tracks. The production's a little basic, but it has good progression. The synths, the keys, and the bass line combined fit well, especially more funkier as a track. And I think, again, he's funky in this fucking name. He should be over funkier beats. But like, let's get into some like worst moments. Chili Sauce, shitty pop track. It reminds me of Jonas Brothers.
It really does.
Yeah, it's like what is Joe Jonas's new band?
Nick Jonas.
Which one's part of DNC Dance or whatever it is?
Oh,
that's what it reminded me of. The Cake by the Ocean guys. Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. It's just like it was too. It's just a shitty pop track that comes out of nowhere. Before's Help, it's a more funkier, soulful track, and right after you have just this fucking pop track, kind of almost EDM pop track that just didn't need to be there. You get back into Sit Your Ass Down, everything's kind of like balance is restored, and then you go on to On the Ball, which again reminds me of that shitty fucking like Will Smith song.
On the Ball is awful.
It sounds like someone threw Run DMC and Diplo in a blender, and this is what came out.
It's awful.
Get Some of This, very generic, EDM heavy. Del's flows are okay, but like the hook is just like terrible. Just with Del being sampled.
Sometimes I just like don't see what Del saw on Amp Live, but like because like sometimes I just think that his beats are so like generically trappy or like EDM like, and they just don't fit him well. Like Del, like you said, is just like very old school. I think that like one of Del's peak beats was Rock the House. I think that just fits so well with him and his voice. And Del has no ability to change his inflection whatsoever. He uses the same voice for everything, which is great because you know it's him. Yeah. And you like, I appreciate it, but also like, if you can't change your inflection, then you're only going to fit over a certain type of beat. And if somebody doesn't make that beat to fit your voice, then it's not going to sound that great. Yeah. Del is not an EDM type of guy. He's more of like a slow, when I say southern rap, I mean like seriously southern rap, like where you're like speaking slow and you're sipping sweet tea. This is the poor man's Andre 3000. Well, maybe not the poor man's, but he's definitely cut from the same cloth.
But yeah, like I think that like I want to say like what does Del see in Amp, but like Amp provides a lot of good moments on this, and for like the first half I thought Del was underplaying Amp's beats, but in the second half I thought Del was overperforming on Amp's beats. So it's like
which is weird because albums are not made linear.
It's like I don't understand this. It's like halfway through the album I was like, you know what, I just listened to this Will Smith track. Like, I love the Fresh Prince, so we better get on this shit. This is the new trend. And it's just like, what the fuck are you
I also love the Fresh Prince.
But, like, the ending to this is completely, like, while I give some of the credits to some more atmospheric moments on this project, Lateral Ending is just a poisonous interlude that just made me feel angry about everything I just listened to. I'm disappointed in this, but there's moments I love. Help, I think is awesome.
That's really cool.
Run Free with the fucking woodwind instrument in the back, where it feels like I'm almost listening to some weird like Gotti flute, but like it's more like,
but it's not.
It's like more like toned down. The outfits over it, the female vocals are good. So like Help, Run Free, Front Roll It, 3.0, 4.0, Gravy Train. I think are all great moments on this project, but I think for a majority of the part, both of them just get kind of lost on what they're kind of going for.
I can see that.
In the end, I'm gonna give this like a 6.5. Not 6.5. I'm gonna give this 5.5. There's moments I like, but there's just terrible moments on here as well. You gonna decide?
What?
You gonna decide?
I'm trying to decide if I liked it as much as J. Cole or not.
Honestly, I like the reason I gave 5.5 is because I didn't like it as much as J. Cole.
I'm gonna have to give it like a 5.75, I think. Just because like it makes me mad, but like J. Cole I think was a little better than this.
J. Cole was better.
I'm disappointed because I feel like I don't want to put all the blame on like one person, but part of me is like I think it's both of their faults for working together because I don't think that they had that much chemistry. If I could rewind time and make them like, not meet or something, then I think I would probably do that.
No, it's like what I would do is once Amplified started suggesting like EDM beats, I would like come in and beat them with a newspaper and be like, stop, that's bad Amplified. I mean, bad.
There's definitely like decent collabs on here.
Yeah,
but I think they're few and far between, which is disappointing.
So yeah, this album is kind of mixed bag, and it's kind of disappointing in the end.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Final album of the week. We ready to... Your queen is a reptile.
Yeah.
Your queen is a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Your queen is a...
Tyrannosaurus Rex style.
Your queen
is a textile.
Your queen is Theodore Rex.
Oh,
so an instant classic. So Sons of Kemet are a British jazz quartet. I think there's 4 of them. There's only 4 of them. There was a previous tuba player, but he's not a part of the ensemble anymore, so does that make the quartet?
I think there's one more.
Because there's a saxophonist / clarinet player that's Shabaka Hutchins, who's the front man. You have 2 drummers, Sub Rockford and Tom Skinner,
which is like really bizarre.
Which I love.
2 drummers is not typically seen.
It should be seen more because I think it's utterly fantastic that they had 2 drummers on one project.
Yeah, you're right. It's only 4.
Yeah, and then there's the who is it? The tuba player Marshall Cross, and they come together on this new album. Your Queen Is A Reptile.
Cross.
I tried to read your computer because my computer just died and my show notes went away, so I have to put my laptop on the floor. But they come together as a quartet. I guess that would make more quartet. Is a quartet only
4 people?
I know, but can you have 4 people and not be a quartet? Is it just about how you classify yourselves? Do they classify themselves as a quartet? There's a random question I have because I didn't see anywhere that they're a quartet.
If you play together, you're a quartet. But like, if the Wu-Tang Clan had 4 members, they're not really a quartet. They're just kind of like a group. Okay. But like these guys, like in the world of like instrumental music, these guys would be a quartet because they play together. They play music together.
So this new album, Your Queen Is A Reptile, it's around like 50 minutes. It's a jazz album, like with influences like African beats and a bunch of other material, a bunch of other genres thrown in there for good measure. Again, mentioned by saxophonist / clarinet player Shabaka Hutchins, who fucking kills it for much of this fucking album. Like, he's one of my favorite moments. They come to, like, you mentioned 2 drummers, not commonly seen.
It's not typically seen.
And especially, like, I think it's weird that they randomly have a tuba player. Like a saxophonist.
This is really bizarre, like, jazz combo, because they're typically just, like, there's usually, like, a trumpet or a trombone or a saxophone or...
Well, there's a saxophone.
Well, there's a saxophone. Like,
there's other instruments.
If you're gonna do a jazz ensemble, most likely like a tuba is not your first and foremost thing.
But it should be.
But here,
this album proves why it should be.
This is the fastest tuba playing I've ever seen. In all honesty.
So this album, this group's weird musical choices, instrument choices. It seems like it shouldn't work, but it comes together like fucking perfectly. Having 2 drummers provides this unique rhythm that's not too disorienting. Like, it's not disorienting at all.
No.
It comes together.
You'd
like,
think it would be. Like, jazz drumming is super, like, chaotic.
Yeah.
It's very meticulous, very rhythmic, but, like, it can get really chaotic in some of the rhythms that they have to do. And having 2 drums, like...
I got
that's
2
that's just even worse.
But, like, they almost fill into the gaps of the other. I think that's what makes them work. It's not like, I'm going to play my drums really fast and you play your drums really fast and then we're going to make an industrial rock track, right? Oh, that's how J-Pep Mafia made his beats. Okay, cool. But, like, it's not this, like, clusterfuck you think it would be. It's a very calming, soothing project. Having the 2 beats, having the tuba, which you think is something that's, like, very bass-heavy, very up front. It actually takes, like, the back note for a lot of this project. And it fills in a lot of the gaps left by the saxophonist, Shabaka. So it's so weird how they, like, fill in the gaps of each other. They all complement each other. The 2 drummers complement each other. The saxophone tuba pairing complement each other and work, like, wonderfully. They feel like a cohesive unit. They are a collective. They are a quartet. They are an ensemble. They are other synonyms that can come out of my mouth. Everyone works well together, and I gotta give them credit for that because it's just so weird. Random choice of instruments that they picked. This album's 15 minutes long. It progresses a lot on each track. Each track's around 6 minutes, 7 minutes. The music ideas that are on the track never are on for long because it's always progressing. It's always going to the next thing and the next thing after that and the next thing and that. But it's not like going super fast where you're losing hang of it. It's like it's almost like we're on a boat in the river. It's just we're going downstream, you know, just flowing to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. It uses their lengths to their fullest. There's only one moment on this album where I feel like it was just too slow. And it just went on for too long. That's, of course, the track Your Queen is... My Queen is Nanny of the Maroons. This whole entire album is structured... the album's always called Your Queen Is A Reptile, so each track has... My Queen is Ada Eamon, or My Queen is Mammy Phillips Clark, or, like, some historical figure of some type shows up, comparing Your Queen to My Queen, which I thought was actually funny. I couldn't find a purpose for a lot of these names being there for a reason or two. They're all historical figures in a sense, but like I couldn't find a reason why they're named like that. But that's not like a dip in the album. I was just trying to look for some more context. Starting off, the track My Queen is Ada Eastman. I really enjoyed, I think the vocal performances that are on the beginning of this album, the end of this album, they're like the spoken word type vocals. Remind me a lot of Young Fathers. I don't know if I'm the only one that sees this, but I think it's just kind of like the vocal inflections they use when they speak. The Young Fathers uses when they speak are very similar to Sons of Kemet.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I think the spoken word artist, vocalist, whoever it is Shabaka Hutchins.
Yeah,
is that right? Okay, I'm just double checking that because I couldn't find anything to prove it, so I was unsure about it. The track Mamie Phillips Clark, I really like the opening with Rasta, Gangsta, the difference between the Rasta and Gangsta. I just thought it was a really cool, like, lyrical moment that pops up at the beginning that provides a little bit of separation between the end of the track, because the track's like 6 minutes in whole, so like there's only vocals for like the first couple seconds, and then it's just there to provide some like almost an opening going from the spoken word moment to this like new track. I think it transitions really well. The blending of a saxophone and tuba on the same plane, especially on this track, is utterly phenomenal. And again, Shabaka Hutchins fucking kills it on this track. It's like 2 minutes into the track, just like listen to it and he like takes your breath away, because like I don't understand like how he's like playing the saxophone this fucking hard. Like he makes me want like Kamashi Washington to step up his game. If you want me to like make Kamashi Washington step up his game, you're doing something fucking right. The track My Queen is Harriet Tubman. Again, the saxophone and the tuba on that provide a hard-hitting note that almost builds on top of the rhythm of the dub. So like the tuba almost feels like it's like tuba and the saxophone combined together to feel like they're almost like a kick drum or something like that. So they provide the rhythm. They provide like a unique rhythm to the drum beat, which is like, it's like, again, they're layering each other on top. They feel like a cohesive unit. They feel like they're trying to play the same track together. They feel like they're working together as
a team, as a quartet.
We have to say that every time. The track My Queen is Angela Davis. I'm just gonna say the names of the track. I'm not gonna say My Queen anymore because it's taking up too much time. Around the 2:30 mark, the bass of the tuba under the soothingness of the saxophone makes a beautiful experience. It's just so strange. It's like it's a very peaceful moment, but like right after, it doesn't stay on that plane for long. It stays maybe like for like 20 seconds. It's just like beautiful moment, but then it just progresses either further. It goes from like 0 to 100 real quick. It's like steadily progresses up, and I think it's
ramps.
Yeah, it's great. I absolutely loved it. The track Nanny and the Maroons, my least favorite track on this album. It's the only track I really don't care for. The album needed a come down track, and I think Around the Spot it needed it, but I think Nanny and the Maroons doesn't do it for me as a whole. I think it's a little too long.
It's sometimes just disappointing, I think, to come off of such a fun project and then like it's like when you're at a party and you're like you're having fun and you're like dancing or whatever, and then somebody comes up and is like, hey man, you've been sweating a lot, you need to drink some water, and you're like, oh man, like I hate water. Like water didn't do anything to you.
That's the dumbest reference that I think either of us have ever said.
Doesn't it make sense?
I guess it does, but
this is Nanny of the Maroons is when somebody comes up and tells you need to drink some water because you've been dancing too much.
Yeah, it's just this track just doesn't seem to provide the same type of fun atmosphere as the other tracks. And then I think Doreen Lawrence, which I really enjoy about the track, the bass or the tuba at the beginning just sounds like a very bass heavy synth. It reminds me of like the theme to Inception. It doesn't seem like a tuba. It seems like a some weird synth that just is very very thick and bass heavy. But yeah, this is everyone on this album like unifies into a unit. It has good progression. It's very fun, very just good to listen to. It's one of the best jazz albums I've ever listened to, and I have a lot of fun with this project. I don't think I can say anything anymore. I really enjoyed the Sons of Kemet album. I think it's very unique, distinctive as a jazz album, not only of its titling and song titles, but it's not only in the instrumentation but in the performances and the progression and how it's set up. I think it's phenomenal. I think this is a very very solid jazz album, and in the end I think I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. I hope to hear from more Sons of Kemet in the future. I like it a lot, and I hope this isn't all they have, and I don't know. I hope we hear more jazz like this in the future. Just strange, more strange but not weird, not like abstract or avant-garde jazz, but just like
normal jazz.
Normal but strange and it's like choosing of instruments, or it's in progression, or it's like song titling, or if there's performance on top of that and the lyrical performance on top of that. Not like just like John Bapp where you're just like playing a drum randomly for 10 minutes and hope something pops up.
Well, I mean, this isn't like typical jazz music. This is very like African influence or like Caribbean influence. I think the best types of jazz are like the ones that you're not expecting, I guess. Bad Bad Not Good being like a huge proponent of that. Like that's like hip hop jazz, and I really enjoyed their last album 4 because of that. That was one of my like tops of the year. This one I also like quite a bit. I think I'm gonna give it an 8.25 overall. Just because it's just a really fun project. It honestly reminds me of what you said, Young Fathers, but this group or album reminds me actually a lot of Tune Yards as well.
You get that look for a reason. You have to explain yourself on that one.
If
you're
like
making that accusation, like, you have to explain your fucking self, because I don't.
Young Fathers reminds me a lot of like Tune Yards, but when you think of like Tune Yards, I'm thinking specifically like
annoying
Who Kill. Like
which is like
the whole album of Who Kill.
It's good, but
like
it's
parts
it's
of
annoying.
Like Nicky Knack. I feel like it's not as present on I Can Feel You Creep Into My Private Life, but like Tune Yards in general use a lot of like Caribbean influences, or like very like heavy influences, as well as I think that Meryl Garbus's like vocal style is similar to that of
Shabaka Hutchins.
Yeah.
I still don't see it. I think you're kind of wrong on that
No, I think I'm correct, and that's the end of the review. Good night.
Good night. That's it.
I'm going to bed.
Go to bed. You're tired. You're for making that accusation.
I'm getting sleep. I got 4 hours of sleep, guys. I'm sleepy.
Okay. But in the end, tracks like Adam Eastman, I almost said Mommy, Mamie Phillips Clark, Harriet Tubman, and Angela Davis, I definitely would recommend you listen to, especially if you like jazz with some African or Caribbean.
Even if you don't like jazz, this is not like any. Take whatever you know about jazz and throw it out the window, because this is what it reminds. Like seriously, you think of like Charlie Parker or something. Like take
Charlie
that,
Puth.
Take that and throw it out the window. If all you've listened to is Take the A Train, and then put this in its place, it's a completely different thing. But there's still jazz. It's not your grandfather's jazz.
Yeah. It's your grandma's.
Yes.
She has good taste in jazz.
Give it back.
Okay, I think that wraps it up for this week's episode of the Anthony and Todd Show. So what's next week? So like I think I didn't finish out what our actual schedule is. So I'm just gonna only talk about the stuff we're actually doing next week. So
okay. And we'll let you guys know what else we're doing.
Okay, so next week, are you hyped? Janelle Monáe, who just came out of the closet today. So good for her.
Was it ever really like?
No.
No. Was it ever like? No, a question?
but I was just like, it's always been like a thing of like, she's been kind of like teasing it, but like she's never been like open about it. But like, good for her. Dirty Computer, which I'm really excited for because I've only
Okay Computer.
Okay
Janelle.
Dirty Computer. I've only listened to the first 2 singles, Make Me Feel and what's the other one? Django, something like that.
Unchained.
Django Jane. I think that's what it's called. I only listened to 2 because I liked them both a lot, and I just didn't want to like be spoiled. I stopped listening to those tracks because I knew this was going to be something special, and I wanted to experience it in its entirety. So I know there was like 3 other singles that came out. Didn't want to listen to them. Just want to experience this as a whole because I did like was it Metropolis?
What
was it Metropolis? Her first studio album.
The Arcandroid?
Arcandroid. I don't know. I thought Metropolis was like the location of it, right? Or it was one of the tracks.
It's like all about like dystopian society. I don't know if it's. I don't know.
I haven't listened to it since like a couple of years ago when you introduced.
Oh yeah, it's. Though it's like her concept series.
Yeah, it's when you introduced me to the track with Big Boy.
Yeah.
I thought it was really fun.
Tightrope.
I again haven't listened to it in a while. We're also going to be reviewing a solid. I'm calling it right now. Light 4. This thing's going to be an hour and something, like 14 minutes long. Post Malone's new album, Beer Bongs.
It's not coming out.
It has.
No, I'm telling you, it's
it
not
has
coming
an
out.
iTunes track.
Yeah,
listing.
we're also going to be reviewing Wiley's Godfather 2.
That's not coming out. That doesn't even have a solid release date. It was supposed to come out 2 weeks ago, and we've heard nothing.
It's coming out this week. I'm calling it.
I think my Light 4 is probably more. I feel like honestly it's gonna be a Light 4. Like I have my expectations set that high.
Can I call it
that high? That's gonna be a Light 4.
My rating is non-existent
because I think
not real. It's not coming out.
I think it's gonna be bad, but I think like at its worst, the worst tracks are gonna be like Psycho. So like the track he did with Ty Dolla $igns, which is not like it's not terrible, but it's not like good. But there's moments like Rockstar, which I actually personally really enjoy on it. So. Light 4. And then finally we're going to review probably what could be the worst Kanye album. I've never listened to it in its entirety before, but I know there's some moments on it. So like it's a mixed bag. I'm expecting this to be like one of the mixtapes. I have not listened to it before. This is the segment where like You're Not My Dad. One of these is my dad. This is my dad, I think. Woo. This bit's getting old. I'm getting sloppier at it every week. I used to be prepared for this bit, but I honestly stopped giving a fuck. We're talking about Kanye West's Cruel Summer, his good music kind of collab.
I can't tell you how good it is.
I've never listened to it in its entirety, but I own the CD because I wanted to have all the Kanye CDs, so I got it. But we may be reviewing like a couple other things, but like I don't know.
I don't know what else is coming out.
I know there's like a Fourth Wanderers album coming out. We may touch upon that. We may go back and review that Anna Von, whatever her name is.
Barson.
Version Swedish Chef album. We may review that.
Also, I might just give a random review because I found this album made by L'Orange and Cool.
You didn't know about that?
No.
I've never listened to it, but I know what it is.
Let's review it.
Let's not.
Yeah, it's called Time Astonishing, and it's got features from J Live, Open Mike Eagle,
Dude, I love J. Cole.
and Blue, as well as MC Paul Barman.
Dude, I'm really excited for that MC Paul Barman.
I think
record.
I'm going to review this and give my.
I will give you 5 minutes to give your thoughts about
Do
it.
you want to do it too?
I'm not doing it too.
Okay,
I have too much other shit to be doing.
I'm gonna do it.
I'll listen to it when I damn feel like it. Not to say it's probably gonna be bad.
I'm listening to it this week. Like I did that DJ Jazzy Jeff review.
That you were doing just ironically listening to it.
But this one, I gave a still review though.
Jean Grey was on that album.
I know.
That just makes me sad.
I'm gonna look it up.
What was the song about Bismarckine? He lost his penis. Was that a track on it?
No.
Who lost it?
He sampled the "Can't Buy Me Love" by the Beatles.
Who lost their penis? Didn't someone lose their penis on that album? There's a track where like someone lost their dick.
I can't tell you.
I swear to God, you were telling me. No, maybe it wasn't their lost their dick burns or something.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Who was it?
I don't remember.
Who lost their dick? Please figure out who lost their dick.
Who was it?
Oh my God, who was it?
Who was it?
Was there even... Were we just crazy?
No, there was, because they were talking about how it hurts to pee.
Oh my God, what track? I never listened to this, so I don't know. I'm just gonna say it was Jean Grey.
No, I think it was Twone Gab.
Oh, go see the Doctor 2K17. 2K7.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Who lost
I might have to give this another listen.
Do not. We're gonna re-review it next week.
I got good reviews.
I'd rather... No. What is it? Double XL Hip Hop gave it a fucking 9.
I gave it an XL.
Gave it an extra
I
large.
don't know what that means.
It means they gave it an extra large shirt.
And said, "Here you go."
But until next time, guys, make sure you like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube, Podbean, Stitchers, Google Play Music, iTunes, and Spotify. And if you like our themes, produced by our big friend...
Me.
No, me. You don't have any response.
I named them.
Doesn't mean you can
And also,
credit.
I helped on them.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I just told you what you needed to add and what you needed to cut.
No. Who do you think you are, fucking Rick Rubin?
I'm your manager. The intro song is called Galaxia, named by me, and the outro song is called Rock Salt Lamp, named by me. And the links to my songs are in the description.
Fuck you.
This has been episode 36 of the Anthony Todd Show, an episode we would like to call KOD, stands for Kong of Donkey.
Also stands for Call of Duty. Until next time, guys.
Goodbye.
See ya, boyos.